Welcome to Bullets Nation podcast. I've got something a little bit different for you today. Do you remember, Bullets fans, when the Bullets offense ran through a wiry guard from Kansas who could score at will and still find the time to crash the boards? Steve Woodberry wasn't just another import, he was the whole package. After a stint on the Gold Coast, he crossed to Brisbane in 1996. By 1998, he was pulling up an eye-popping 26.4 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 4.3 assists per game, and leading the Bullets back into the finals. His final season in Brisbane, 1998 and 99, was pure fireworks. He torched the league for 27.8 points a night, and he collected MVP honours. Fans who were there will remember the nights he could cut through defences like a hot knife through butter. The step-back threes that silenced visiting crowds, and the way he filled every column on the stat sheet. He was a two-time All-NBL first-team selection and the Bullets' first MVP since Derek Rucker. In other words, he gave Brisbane fans plenty to cheer about. Today, he's back coaching in the States, but ask any Bullet supporter about those seasons and you'll hear the same thing. Steve Woodberry made Brisbane basketball must-watch. Grab your jersey, cue the highlights in your head and settle in, because we're about to catch up with the man who gave the Bullets their swagger. I am so pleased to be talking to you today, Steve. Thanks so much for joining me on the podcast.
Well, thank you. I was looking forward to it all day. Since you reached out to me, I was looking forward to the interview.
Yeah, Steve is a man of action. I asked him if he wanted to come on, and I think it's 2 days later or something, we're sitting here recording. So you're my kind of person. Thank you for making the time in your schedule. I want to really go back to where basketball all began for you, Steve. So you were born, you had your childhood in Wichita. What are your earliest memories of playing basketball?
Um,
And who or what sparked your passion for this game?
well, I was born in Wichita, Kansas. So when I first got started, I'm the youngest of nine. So of all my brothers and sisters were always in sports and always so I kind of followed them around and where I grew up, a middle school was right around the corner. So I could walk or I would jump fences and take a shortcut and be there in 2 minutes instead of walking, taking 5 minutes. So and it was two full court goals over there, one side which for the older guys, other side for the younger guys. So I just play as you got older, you graduate and you go to the play with the older courts. But until then, it was just on the smaller courts. And when I got into playing like team at a young age, I was at the park playing with a bunch of kids, and someone followed me home. And like 5 minutes later, they knocked on my door and asked if I could play. Like it was called Biddy basketball, is what it was called. So, and it was very popular. And I ended up playing till I was 12 years old because you have the different teams, all-star teams, travel teams. I ended up making the travel team, and we ended up going to Dallas, Pennsylvania, Louisiana. We traveled around. So I actually ended up playing against Rick Brunson, who played in Adelaide when I was
Wow.
there. So, and it's a small world, but that took basketball taking me on lots of journeys. So that's my early childhood of playing. And my brothers and sisters kept me the competitiveness because they were older and they wouldn't let you win, and you ended up trying to fight them, but you can't win. So that was part of it.
Yeah. The youngest of nine. I'm still trying to wrap
Yeah.
my head around that. Your mum is a superstar. Whew.
She is. And you know what? She's 94 years old. She's still going strong. Yeah.
Wow. Shout out to your mum. As being a mother myself and going through the birthing process, when I hear people have done it like 9 times, I'm like, wow,
Right,
hats off
right.
to
Well,
you, ladies.
my family's huge. My mom comes from, I think, 13. She's like the oldest of 13. So
Wow.
back in those early times, you come from, it was big families. Now everybody want two or three kids, but when we came up, everybody had all these kids, and now everybody got one or two, and that's enough. So
Yeah. Something changed along those lines, didn't it?
yeah.
It's just extraordinary. So let's look at your high school. You went into high school. Your Wichita South teams won back-to-back state titles. What set those squads apart, and how did that success shape your mindset going into college? Take me through that time.
Well, in high school, when I first got there, we were really good. So we didn't have freshmen as like freshmen is ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th is your senior year. So I got there. We didn't have freshmen at the time. So my 10th grade year, I was JV and varsity. So I didn't play a lot of varsity. So we ended up winning a state championship that year as well. And I was on the team, but didn't play that much. We were really good though, so it was okay with waiting. You wait your turn. Now everybody's in a rush to get there and play, but that actually shaped my journey going forward because the following year I started. Uh, we ended up losing one game, I think, that year. So I ended up winning one game that year, losing one game that year, and won the championship. And the team that beat us, we turned around and beat in the state finals. So,
How
which
many
was
games would you play? Give us an idea in that
uh,
kind of year.
high school, it was 24 total because in Kansas rules are very limited compared to everybody else. The max you could play was 24 and winning to state championship. Like if you go to Florida, Texas, they may have played 30 some games because they play multiple tournaments. They're able to travel now. Kansas is kind of loosening up their rules now where they're allowed to play more. So, but during my 3 years of high school, I lost three high school games. So, and the sad part is, my last game of high school, my former teammate of mine at KU, he hit a half court shot in the state finals to beat me. And I hit
Oh,
a shot right before he did. Yes. So that would have been three state titles in a row. So,
so you were close. You were
yeah,
so
yeah,
close. And so
yeah.
you say you're great, but what really set your team apart, do you think?
I was very fortunate to have a great coach. He was very demanding, but he understood. He was a guy that if you see him, he looks like just a little short guy. I would he's introvert. He's an introvert if you see him, and he wins a lot. So after my run in high school with him, before I got there and after, I think he lost in 10 years, maybe 15 games in high school when he was coaching at Wichita South. And so from there, he left and went to a coach junior college basketball, which is a 2 year school before you go to college. The guys that are not eligible. So I was lucky to play for a really good coach who laid the foundation for me of understanding how to play the game for us, both ends of the floor, and doing the little things that make you successful and instilling that work ethic and discipline in you.
Wow. Wow. And so how did that shape your mindset going into college?
Well, going into college, first of all, going to Kansas, that's one of your blue bloods in all of college basketball. Those teams it's four teams in one. They're one every year is kind of like who's won the most games in college basketball all time, and Kansas is one of those teams. So I wasn't heavily recruited because I wasn't a guy to go to these huge camps like Nike camp and it was called ABCD camp. I never went to those. So the higher recruits have five, they call 5 stars. I don't know if I had any stars. So I go to Kansas. People, you have to be local, like Kansas area, to know who I was in Missouri. Like guys come from other places, maybe in 5 stars, so they come in with expectations. And so me coming in knowing how to play the game had separated me from other guys that wasn't taught the way I was taught. So I understood what the head coach wanted and everything on how to play, what to do. Now my IQ for the game took me a long way because I was never the fastest, most athletic, but one thing that I had over others was I could use my mind and I knew how to play the game. So, and I had a legendary coach. He was a Hall of Famer. So, and he was big on his word. What he said when he recruited me, he stuck to it, and just he's just a great man overall. So,
Was that Roy Williams?
yes, ma'am. Yes, a great guy.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
uh,
And he once called you one of KU's best defenders.
yes, yes. I didn't defend very much when I came to Australia, but at Kansas, I used to guard the toughest opponent on the perimeter all the time. So, but we were very talented team. So, in what? We went to the Final Four twice in my 4 years, which is unheard of for somebody to just go once. So we ended up losing to Duke my freshman year in the championship game. It sucked to be a runner-up 2 years in a row because we lost in high. I lost in high school and turned around and lose at college the same way. So, but to have that success in 4 years at Kansas is, the only thing I didn't do was win a national championship.
Yeah. Did that Did that though, because you won and then lost and then left and then won and then lost and then left. And so I wonder if that's like the setup from the universe to go, we're not going to hand it all to you. We want you to be hungry for the next step.
Well,
Is that
I
what it
think
did?
no, well, I just think when you a competitor winning, man, that's what drove me to be to compete. A
Yeah.
lot of people, I play because I love the game. And if I played pickup basketball, if the five I played with lost, I wanted the same five to go back on the court and play. I didn't want to go on somebody else's team. I'd rather wait and play with the guys that we lost with, because I want to beat those guys. So I was always trying to find a way to beat or have an advantage over everybody else. But the competitiveness of the game is what drove me.
Yeah. 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 When you get to that professional level, you're not playing to come second, are you? That's not the point.
No, not at all.
And so when Roy Williams called you one of the best defenders, what went into developing that reputation for you?
Well, in high school, I learned the fundamentals of how to do it. And so once I got to college, the way we played defense, it was a lot of denying and getting up in people, forcing them to the basket and all that. But I also had a great advantage. I played with 7'2", a guy that was 7 feet 2 inches tall, and I played 6'10". So if you want to drive to the basket, if you beat me, I had 7'2" back there to bother the shot. So that helped as well. So, but we put so much pressure on you defensively, how we denied the ball. And then offensively, if you made or missed the shot, we were coming. So we got the ball out and we were just up the court just attacking. That's how we played. And it bothered a lot of teams. So we won a lot of games early because of how we played. The flow, the pace of the game, it bothered a lot of people. But defensively, I always tell people the best way to get on the floor in college is be able to defend somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you do anything extra yourself to become a better defensive player?
I used to play a lot of one-on-one with some of the guys on my team. So we would play two dribbles, three dribbles, and the competitiveness comes out of you when you do that. So, and that's the more you can play one-on-one, you're guarding somebody. If somebody's better than you got to figure a way out how to beat them. So, and then I actually lined up against a lot of pros. Now they had some great days when I guarded them, but that's part of the process. So good offense is going to be great defense. That's just the offense always have the advantage because the referee's going to give them the benefit of the doubt. So, but as long as I made them work and they shot a bad percentage, I was fine with that.
Yeah. And that comes down also to being the youngest of nine kids. You have to be competitive there, don't you?
Yes, you have to. You have to.
Yeah,
So
it's either be competitive or get lost in the
pretty much.
line. Yeah. So that's one thing that went in your favor. Um, so where are we up to next? You went into out of college. You went into professional basketball from there.
Yes, yes. I went to my first stop was Bellinzona, Switzerland. And I stayed for like a month and a half, and I came home. It was a good experience. It was okay. And I came home. I forgot what happened, and then when I was back home, Ian Stacker was in the Kansas office looking at film and all that, and Dave Claxton called the office, and he said that what they were looking for, the amount of money or whatever. So that was my first experience with Australia. So and to leave college and go to Australia was great because that's more American than going somewhere else that's like they don't speak the English. But I mean, first job in the Gold Coast, I mean, you can't beat that. Living on
Yeah.
Surfers Paradise, main beach area, you can't beat that. So
Especially in 1995. It's a lot different now to what it was back then.
I bet it is.
But
I bet it is.
1995 Surfers Paradise. Wow. I
Oh
don't think
yeah,
you could have
yeah,
gotten better than that.
yeah. I lived on
Yeah.
Main Beach. I still remember.
Wow. And you later became the NBL's MVP with the Brisbane Bullets. So you played one season with Gold Coast before you came up
What
to
happened?
Brisbane?
Yes, what happened with the Gold Coast, I didn't finish the season my first year because I dislocated my foot. We were supposed to leave and travel to play Melbourne, and I dislocated my foot in practice right before we was to travel. So and usually I tape, and that day I didn't tape my ankles. So unfortunately, that's what happened. And then I set out. basically the rest of
So
the year
hold on a
stayed.
sec.
Yeah.
You taped your own ankles back then? You didn't have any strappers or anything?
Yeah, I used to take my own ankles. Yeah, I did that for a while, a long time. So, well, you learn
Yeah.
in college, we get our ankles taped every day. So I kind of watched and learned how to do it myself. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember
it,
being taught how to do it myself, but I was like, you were professional basketballers in 1995 and there was no strappers or anything.
I would say in college, you're kind of spoiled because you get so much in college when
Yeah.
the gear, whoever it is, Adidas, Nike, Converse, all you get loads of that stuff. You got trainers, you got training table where you get 3 or 4 meals that's provided for you. When you travel, you stay in 5-star hotels and charter flights too. So we're kind of spoiled and get there and you know, it's what happens sometimes. You gotta be learn to adjust. And that's what I did at Gold Coast.
Yeah. College ball in America blows my mind. I don't understand it. Kids these days are getting, almost $1 million
Yeah,
a
the money.
month to play. Like it's crazy. Yeah.
It's different. It's different now. But
Yeah.
I'll say this. I'm glad they're getting paid because when I played, my jersey would hang up in the bookstore with my name on the back of it, and the people would buy it, and I never got anything for that.
Yeah.
So you
So
pay for
other
selling
people were
jersey,
getting rich off the back of it. Yeah.
the school gets that money. So, and I'm not, but I don't agree with the players getting paid before they do the work.
Yeah.
So if they want, say, I put like, if you want $200,000, well, I want 20 points and 10 rebounds a game. All right. If you can do that, then that's okay. If you can't do that, we got to take some money away. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what happens.
Yeah. It Yeah, I've heard Derek Rucker say before about back in those days the amount of pressure that was on imports to perform. Did you feel that at the Gold Coast as well?
Uh, I started out a little slow, but no, I didn't. I mean, I played well when I was at the Gold Coast. So my game was based. I could score, rebound, assist. So I did some everything, and I was one of your bigger point guards. So I was kind of a mismatch when people guarded me. So bigger guys, I could take them on the perimeter. Smaller guys, I can go post them up. So, and one of my big advantages was because I could really rebound the ball. I can get the rebound and push it myself, or I can go in there and offensive rebound as well.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. I'm just thinking now, it's like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have one of those in our team? How did playing down under differ from American college? Did you see much of a change in the game or the style or anything like that when you came out
Um,
here?
I would say, I mean, first of all, it was like NBA style, 48 minutes, 12-minute quarters. In college, it's only 20-minute halves. And I think college basketball is the only sport, only basketball that play 20-minute halves. Everybody else in the world play quarters. Even women here, women's college, they play quarters. So we play halves. Don't understand, but whatever. The shot clock was a little different, but other than that, no, I didn't, basketball is basketball. It was more the onus is more on the Americans when I went overseas to make sure everybody performed well. So I mean, you could score the ball, but I mean, it does no good if I score 50 or 40 and these other guys are not playing well off of me because now what does that do? So you want to be good enough where you make everybody else better, where they have to guard the other guys as well too.
Yeah. And how many imports were the teams allowed to have back then? Was it still three?
Two. We only had two.
Two. Mm,
They have three
nice.
now.
Three, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Good. Good for them.
And I don't know when that changed. I didn't even think of that when I was researching the questions. But yeah, we have three now. Um, and so you hurt your foot, and then you went up to Brisbane. How did that move happen?
It was Dave Claxton liked me. I'm not Dave, not Dave Ingham. He liked me. So from when I played against, because I made the All-Star team when I was at Gold Coast, and Bruce Palmer and Dave Ingham were the coaches. And so Dave Ingham liked me, ended up reaching out to me, and we got something going from there. But I come in, I'm heavy because the foot dislocation, I wasn't doing anything for like 6 months because I was in a boot, basically a cast. In the dislocation, I would have been better off breaking my ankle because all my ligaments were like knotted in there. So the rehab was a little tough. But, as I played during the year, I got in better shape. I had some good games, I had some bad games as far as shooting wise, but once I got in better shape, that you play enough. And I was a guy that I got up early and I got my workout in. I was going to get shots up. I was going to work on my game every day to make sure I'm prepared because I just felt like if I'm a professional, I want to be a pro at everything I do.
Yeah, and that seemed to lead you well because in 1999, you had your MVP season with the Bullets.
Yes, yes, I played really well that year, so I do recall that. I think the year before I had a great year as well, and Andrew beat me out, but Andrew beat a lot of people out, so Andrew Gaze that is. So, but
That's what
I
Derek
look at
Rucker was just saying that on a broadcast like 2 nights ago. He said, I was so close to MVP, but it was the time of Gazy era because we've got a man in Australia now called Bryce Cotton, and there's Bryce Cotton and everyone else. And there's some
Bryce
people
is
in
good.
here who really could be easily MVP of the season, except for Bryce. And Bryce is getting better and better and better. So,
He's good.
yes,
I still follow the league, so I've always followed the league. I've always reached out to some former players that I played with, and just check in and see how it's going. So I still
yeah.
follow it.
Yeah, you see Bryce is getting better and better and better then. Yeah, he's great. And Kendrick Davis. So they were talking about
Yeah,
Kendrick Davis the other night saying, gee, he's really up there for MVP contention, but it's Bryce's to lose. I don't think
it's
anyone
hard.
can catch him yet.
Somebody take it from somebody got to take it from you. So.
Absolutely. And good luck to them for trying. They'll have a red hot go, I'm sure. So take us through that season a little bit and what clicked for you and for the team? You said you had a great year. What does
I
that really
think
mean?
my off season, like every time I would come back home, it was always a group of guys that like professionals that play NBA, college, over in Europe. We would all get together and we would all work out. That's something we always did. So we'll work out in the morning for like hour and a half, 2 hours, all skill stuff, and then we'll come back in the evening and play pickup. So I always made sure that I wanted to get better in something. And I worked a lot on my shooting that year. So and it just became everything became so easy because of it, against the level of guys I was playing against every day. So,
And was
and
that your choice or did the coaches guide you in that?
no, that was my choice. That's what we did. I mean, coming back to Kansas, like it was so many former players that lived here in the off season because we lived at the university still where we played. So in the off season, we would all go up to the university and just play or have open gym and just play. And so I had a key to one of the practice gyms so I could get in there whenever I wanted to. And so we would get up in the morning, be like it could be up to 10, 15 guys just shooting, working on different stuff. Then we'd come back and we had enough people on two courts where we could have 20 or 30 people playing pickup. So, and that was almost every day during the summer. So, and that kind of set the tone for me. And I got better during that period of time and it just transitioned over there and I just kind of ran with the year. So I had a really good year and I had a great teammates as well.
Yeah. And so tell us a bit about that team. So Brian Curl was your coach that year?
Ryan Carroll,
Oh,
Steve McLeod was assistant. I think CJ Bruton on that team and
I
Chuck
did,
Corn.
I think CJ was on that team. I did a bit of searching.
Yeah, I mean Chuck Cornegay was the other. He was on the team as well because
Yeah.
CJ was. Yeah, so I enjoyed playing with those guys. That's probably one of the funniest years I had because it was just entertainment with those guys, and we just kind of, it was hard to guard me because CJ was so good. And people he was would play. He kind of was. I think he came into his own once he went to Wollongong. I'm not saying he wasn't like that when he was with me, but I kind of took away from what he did. And then you had Chuck, who was so athletic and big. So we had a lot of pieces that could bother people. But my thing too is I was really good at one on one, so I could break the defense down, get to spots, and play from there. So and make plays for other people, but or go get my own shot at any time.
Yeah. So while we're on that, it really interests me about defense is that often teams, Sydney last night whipped Brisbane, and they've got three elite defensive players, and but a lot of teams have one, and maybe two. What do you think is so different, and why there is only one or two select elite defensive players in a team that get those big matchups?
Is Brian Gorgon the coach at Sydney?
Yeah,
Well, his teams have always been known for defense too. When I
yeah.
was playing, they were really good defensively. And I also think, what are you in practice? What is your focus? Because I think you can help, you can be a great team defense where it's okay, I know what this guy like to do. You can take this away from him, but you got to be able to help and rotate. And so that way you're keeping guys out the paint, making them take tough shots. But when you have elite defenders, now all of a sudden you ain't worried about rotating to help them because you got guys that can keep the ball in front, keep them out the plane. And if they're long and athletic and rangy, that makes it even better. It makes it easier because now when you're guarding somebody that's athletic and you can get a hand up, contest shots, and really bother them, you may not see it, but over the course of time, the shots are short or they get a little hesitant when they start to play or they start to take ill-advised shots from places they usually don't shoot the shot from.
Yeah. And so you think coaching is one of the main things. So you've got to have that competitive spirit, you've got to have those abilities, but the coaching goes a long way into it.
It's a big part of it. It's what's are you demanding or are you allowing it? So if you're allowing this guy to not play defense, he's going to do that. So, but if you're demanding that guys play defense, you hear that every day. If you're a competitor, it comes out of you. Like one thing I know is one thing we tell our guys is effort is optional, playing time is not. So if you ain't giving effort, you're probably not going to play. So the
Yeah.
coach is the one that control the playing time. And so if you're a competitor, you don't want to sit on the bench. That's the IO that wakes you up. So if you're
Yeah.
sitting down, you're not mad that you're not playing, then maybe we need to get somebody else in there and take your spot.
Yeah. And yeah, that was actually the best way to get anything out of me when I was younger as well. The coach didn't even
Right.
have to say anything. He'd just put me on the bench and he'd just keep coaching the game. And I'd be like, man, I'm a starter. It's been a while. It's like, oh, I really need to up my game, don't I? Did not have to say a word to me. I just went out and gave him everything after that. And he was like, there you go. And we
So,
didn't even
see,
have to have the conversation.
some people you can do like this. Some you have to give them a wake up, the way you talk to them and come across. So you got to be demanding of it. But some people you might be able to give them a look, it's
Yeah.
unacceptable. Other guys, you may have to cuss at them or get on them a little bit. So everybody's different, but you still want to get the same results.
Yeah. And so do you think it was how did Brian Curl really make that team click and sing for that title and your MVP or your MVP year?
Yeah, well, I think for one, we like playing with each other, and that makes a world of difference. And when your team, everybody liked each other, we played well together, and Brian gave us freedom to play too. So he kind of got out of the way of that, and he let us organize things and go play, and so that really went a long way. But we had two of the best one-on-one players, myself and CJ. We could get in the paint, we could bother people, stuff like that. We could break the defense down. And when you're in the paint, it's just a habit of everybody, they're gonna help. So you're leaving people open and get open looks and things of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so how many years in total did you play in Australia?
I played what, six, because I went and played with Brett Brown at Sydney one year because I hurt my knee my last year in Brisbane. I had a meniscus tear, and then I came home and because I got the meniscus tear done in Australia, but I had that when I got home, it needed some more work to be done because my kneecap was a little rough behind it because it kept inflammation in there. So I got that done. And then when I was rehabbing one day, I had a blood clot come in. So I had to go get the blood clot taken out of it. So so I kind of had I think they had to do that. They had to go back in and clean everything up. I had like four knee surgeries in 8 months, and I signed with Sydney a little later. And I just wasn't healthy, so I couldn't really play. It didn't work out, and I ended up sitting a year out after that. So
Yeah, I'm sure
I was
your knee thanked you for that year out though.
Yeah, you talking about a long year though. Oh man, when something's taken away from that you love, it's a humbling experience. So,
Yeah.
and I was lucky because after setting out that year, I get a call because my agent at the time he got some film of me and he sent it to a coach. They were looking for a guard that can do some of everything. So he got film and he sent it to the coach in Lithuania, and they offered me a 3-year contract when they saw it. So
Wow.
I've been.
What did we'll get to that in a sec, but what did that year out teach you?
Oh man, it's humbling when something's taken away from you. And because you're not, I wasn't able to do what I love every day. So you have to find other things that you good want to do, and it helped me start looking around at something I want to do after basketball. is what I started looking at as well. So, but it was hard though, because I ended up, I don't like sitting at home, so I went and got a job, so I worked and hung out the house and just it was a long year. I didn't really shoot or do much because I was constantly rehabbing, trying to get my knee stronger, and but it was a tough year. It was a tough year.
And what were your thoughts then about what you wanted to do after basketball?
I've always wanted to coach. That was something I looked at. That and I was thinking about financial world as well, but coaching has always been in my blood. Because I mean, you don't see it, but the basketball game's on my TV right now. So, but that's what I've always done. We growing up, we watch sports all the time. It's always on our TV growing up. So, and I've always been in tune to basketball, and I watch it with a purpose. With some teams, some schools, I watch it just to watch the game and the talent that's on the floor.
Yeah, amazing. And you learn so much. I've learned so much just by watching what other people do. And
Yes, the game
yeah,
slows down too. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, absolutely. So you went to Lithuania. How did European basketball differ in style and culture when you got over there?
oh, the culture is different now. In Lithuania, first of all, Zalgiris is one of the EuroLeague top EuroLeague teams. So Arvydas Sabonis at the time was the owner. So he would have been one of the 10 greatest players of all time if he stayed healthy. You talking about he was doing what these big guys were doing back then. So he was one of your best passers, shooters. He could do everything at 7 feet tall. But he was the owner, so I go over there. Nobody really speaks English, but for me, the team, I had three guys on the team that just finished college. So in the US. So they all spoke pretty good English. So they showed me around. You talk about, Russia had owned it. So you see they were previously owned by Russia. So you see all the places that you live in with concrete blocks. So where I lived in, you go in this big concrete block of apartments, but actually it was really nice inside. I was shocked how nice some of these places were. Uh, Money was, I would say, for every US dollar, it was $4 their money. So everything was pretty cheap over there. But it was a lot of poverty there. But Lithuania loves basketball. That's one thing they do. They support us. Every game, it was sold out. Great atmosphere. I mean, that's one of my favorite places to play. So you can't beat that. And actually, my second year with the team, I was named team captain. So,
Wow.
and
And
yeah,
what about the style of play over there?
it was more. I would say a lot of sets in action. A lot of sets. So it was great for me because I didn't have to do all the scoring and all this and that. So I actually they played a system, with a lot of freedom of movement, kicking and cutting and ball screens, a lot of different action. And I loved it. So it wasn't me. I didn't have to score 30 or 25. I was allowed to just play basketball and roll. And, at the end of games, when it was a close game, I would switch over to the point guard because our point guard at the time was a Lithuanian that just graduated, and they didn't trust him. So at the end of games, they would give me the ball, which I love. So I would prefer the ball in my hands anyway. So, but you couldn't be that. That was one of the best places for basketball for me. So
Yeah. And you won a championship. Was that how many years did you stay there? And when was that
I
championship?
stayed 2 years with Zalgris, and then I went and played a year with the rival team called Los Ritas. So, and that was those years there. So, Ritas, it was. I wish I would have stayed with Zalgris, but they didn't. The money was the situation, and So, but I mean, I would go back if I could go play. I would go Zalgris in a heartbeat. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it was.
What was that like with the crowds? Because some European crowds, did they like boo you when you went to play for the other
Oh,
team when you showed back up?
yeah, yeah. But I still had a lot of respect from the players because of how I was when I was there. I didn't, usually I was a professional. I just try to be professional whatever I did over there. So but they respected me when I was there and I didn't have any issues. But when it's a rivalry game, because the other team I went to play for, they get the big loud horns that you hear. You can't hear the calls on the court, and it was great. Even the EuroLeague games are like that. So you playing, and the referees are constantly blowing their whistle because you can't hear anything in there.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, it looks epic. It looks a little bit scary, but epic as well. And so that was the end of your playing career over there
I
in
went
Lithuania?
to I had three more stops. I went to AEK called Ike in Greece. I stayed there about a few months. Greece was notorious for not paying, and I wasn't staying if I'm not getting paid. I went home, and then I went to Finland and Sweden, and then I was like, I don't. When it started becoming a job, it was I was looking forward to the game instead of practice. I was like, yeah, it's winding down. I didn't want to do it anymore. So when I got out of it, I went back home and started coaching youth basketball.
Yeah. Let's stay there for a second. What took the joy out of it and became a job? What was it about that?
Uh, I was just getting older. I just got tired of so some days you get up, I don't really want to practice today. Where that was something I always enjoyed going to practice. I enjoyed working out and getting better. And once it became a burden and started feeling like a job, I was like, I don't want to do it. The fun was kind of leaving. I like
Yep.
the game, get to games, but I want everything to be fun. So I enjoyed
Yeah.
all my coaches. It's just, you know, at some point, I was like, yeah, it's winding down. I don't want to keep doing this.
Yeah. And your body was just letting you know. And because
Yeah,
the joy was leaving that part of the game, but the game wasn't leaving you. It was just the joy in
right.
that part of it. And so what inspired the shift? You said before you'd been thinking about coaching. And so when was that transition moment?
Well, once I finished playing, I started doing a lot of skill training. I would do girls and boys, get in gyms, and just getting them better. Because I think you should give back. If you have knowledge of the game and you want to get back, and you figure you can help others, you should get back to it. So, and I would teach them how to play, had their skill development. That I did that for a few years, and then I got into AAU basketball, which is we would pick in our area, we'd try to get to 12. We had two teams at the time, 16s and 17-year-olds. We would try to get two teams of 10 kids, and we ended up traveling to different places. We were sponsored by Adidas at the time, so they had big tournaments in like Cincinnati and all these places, and college coaches would come. So we would get these kids recruited. So, and we taught them we would teach them how to play. We also taught them what they're looking for, how to act, all that, what you need to be looking for, listen to what the coach is saying and all that. So, and it's a lot of kids that I coached during that time that I still see today, and they thank me for what I've done for them. So, and
Yeah.
I'm just a small part in their journey. That's all.
Yeah. But so that's where your playing career influence really moved into your coaching philosophy?
Yes, yes, yes. I did that, and my last year of AAU basketball at the time, I got an offer. Actually, I had two interviews. One was at Florida Atlantic, which is a beautiful place. It's in Boca Raton, Florida. It's a beautiful place. It was my college teammate, and he was the head coach. And I had another one here at Springfield, where I'm at now in Missouri State. This guy, I came to Missouri State because the region I was in, I'm familiar with all the players. So when you recruit, I know all the players who fits us, who I can get, and all that. So that's why I picked this school here. And it was,
Yeah.
Missouri is not too far from Kansas.
Yeah. Um, so that's we're going to go into recruiting and player development. So at Tulsa and Wake Forest, you help recruit and develop players like John Collins. What qualities do you look for in young talent, and how do you help them? You went into it a bit, but how do you really help them maximize that potential once you find it?
The thing too, what we have at college, they have access to everything. So like John Collins at the time, he's with the LA Clippers now. He was a first round pick. First of all, he checks every box. Great kid. You one of the best kids you can meet. Uh, when he came to school in recruiting process before he got there, he was kind of heavier. He had kind of like baby fat. Had a bad knee. It wasn't nothing bad. He just always gave him issues. So, but when he committed to us, all of a sudden he changed his diet. He lost his weight. Then he gets to Wake Forest. And one thing about him was his work ethic. He was already a big time athlete, but he was young for his age. When he got to Wake Forest, he was 17, and his work ethic was unreal. He maximized every day. And then weight room was big. We had a great strength coach that he would work with guys and he would change the workouts up depending on who the guy was because everybody's not the same. I worked a lot with John, just footwork in the post, shooting, just how to get angles, all that stuff that matters. That's going to take him a long way. And that was everyday habits. So I just want him to get better in something every day. I always tell guys he's always had the ability, the talent to play in the NBA. I was a little part of the development because the skill was there. I was just helping him polish it up.
Yeah.
So
And so what qualities do you look for? The thing you spoke about was that work ethic.
work. He was a great kid. First of all, you don't want to get in college. You don't want to bring somebody to campus that you're waking up in the middle of the night. He's out partying, drinking, because in college, it's something you can get access to anything in college that you can anywhere else. Uh, but it's how you treat people. What is his long term? What is he going to be in 4 years? So if he's long athletic, okay, we develop him. He can shoot the ball already. Ball handling solid, we can get that better. So he wasn't raw. He had the tools already there. And athletically, he was one of the best athletes I ever coached, been around. But that's huge. And his mom was great. So you want to because if parents are overboard, it's hard to coach kids because you don't want to constantly get phone calls. But it's going to happen. They're going to call or why this or why that. But a lot of times I tell a parent, when you come to practice every day, then you'll see why. If you're not at practice, I mean, it's two sides every story. He's telling you one side, but my side, I have a side too, but come watch practice and then you'll see what I'm talking about. But he was great to deal with. So we had one of the better, as far as guys worker that I had at Tulsa. His name was Shaquille Harrison. Uh, he was a guard, about 6'3". He had one offer, and then when I went to Tulsa, we took him there. One of the best athletes I've ever been around. He can run up a wall, turn a flips. He could do everything. Wasn't a great shooter, but his work ethic was unreal. Every morning at 8 o'clock, when I'm going to office, he's in the gym shooting. He was trying to get better. But defensively, he was great. He could guard up or switch up or down. Great kid, but what he was mean though. He had a great smile, great to deal. But once he got mad, he took it to another level. He played maybe 7 years in the NBA and just a free agent, and he worked so hard, and he would. It was like they seen, well, we can. He was a guy that can put in the game, and you go guard him because he had what some teams want. I just want a dog. Somebody just go guard, and that's what he was. And he's still playing, I think, in Italy right now, but he's one of the better players. If I coach for somebody that's his will to work and get better, he had that.
Yeah. And did his shot get better?
Not really. But
Because
the
that's
thing is,
really interesting. And so I was going to ask, do you, if, so people come in with a natural talent and a proficiency in one thing, and his was defense. So I wonder what it was that didn't just let that shot get
I
better.
think sometimes everybody want to go to these people to help them with their shot or help them with this. Go to one person. Don't go to five or six because now you're getting five or six different opinions. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's what happened. And guys want to do all these workouts. Well, you're doing all these workouts. Why don't you take 40 minutes and just shoot? You can still go work out, but your weakness is shooting. Do 40 minutes of just shooting. That's it. And just watch. It'll get better. But if you just gonna work out and do this and that, okay, what's the point? You're shooting. If you,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because also you've got to have interoception. You've got to have that connection with your body to go, that's not working. I wonder if I adjust this, is it working? If you're handing that off to somebody else, not saying that professionals don't have great tips and ideas, and some people can just say, just tweak this with your shot and it will change. But if you're not taking kind of responsibility for the feel in your body of what a shot feels like, is it ever going to really work?
It's constant reps. If you shoot the ball with your elbow out, well, you need to shoot thousands of shots so it become consistent. So,
Yeah.
but you can't change a shot. And I'm a believer, get with one person, listen to one voice that's going to
Yeah.
work with you. Don't listen to a whole bunch of different people because now it's just adding more confusion in your brain.
Yeah. And I know somebody who actually did a study on this many years ago, and it was in the golfing field. And he said, in the golf swing, everyone's trying to perfect the golf swing, and they say it has to look this way. So he did a study on this guy here has got an unconventional golf swing, but it's working for him. So
Yes.
scientifically, do we change it to look perfect, Or does that ruin it for this person because they actually have it right over here? And so he actually proved that they had it right, leave them alone. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if it looks unconventional. If it's working for them, leave it with them because they've found their way for their body to do it.
Do what works for you. If something's comfortable and it works best for you, and if you're making a shot or whatever, keep doing it. Don't
Yeah.
mess with it. You mess with it, all
Yeah.
of a sudden, you can't shoot anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So from there, you went into life as an NBA scout. Is that what happened next?
I did, yes, I did. 6 years at Tulsa. Oh, no, 6 years here at Missouri State before, then two at Tulsa, six at Wake Forest. And we got let go during COVID. We got fired during COVID period. When you hire a new AD in the college athletic director, most of the time they want to bring their own person in, their own coach. And we didn't win enough either. So that's the big thing of it. So, but after that, I got into NBA scouting, which is probably the best job I ever had. So
Minnesota Timberwolves?
yes, and the thing was, this is my job. I work from home, so when they wanted me to go in, they'll fly me in, and so the flight from where I live was just an hour, 15-minute flight. So I would plan my schedule a month out in advance. So I would start looking at the college schedule in September, so that way in October I know where I'm going. So, and I would just type up an email, send it to the travel agent. She would get back to me about flights, rental car, and hotel. She would do all that. All I had to do is show up, and then I had somebody that would give me the tickets or the media credentials I need for the game. All I had to do was show up. That's it, and go scout and watch games. So it was great.
I see why it's the best job ever. That sounds
Yeah.
amazing. So, how did you approach scouting? Because now you're evaluating college prospects. Has it changed how you watch basketball?
Um, the different. I've always evaluated college. I've always evaluated. So when you're recruiting, you're evaluating anyway. So I've always watched it. And when you're at these big AU events, these Nike tournaments and Under Armour, Adidas, you see these guys coming through. So I've always had an eye for talent anyway. So I've always watched. And if you look at the NBA, most of the time they want those 6'4" and up athletic guy. They got to be great at something. The guys that are, I would say, 6'3", 6'2", or lower, they struggle. They don't have a long life because the grind and wear and tear is hard on your body playing 82 games. But the NBA is different. Those guys are so athletic, people don't realize it, and they make the game look so easy. So I had the pleasure. I sat on the court when I was in Minnesota one time, and I just watched Anthony Edwards work out. And what he did, he lifted weights, he got his shots in, and then Minnesota Twins is a Major League Baseball team. Their stadium basically is right. You go this walkway, it's right over, basically across the street. He would go over there and run stairs. So this is all back to back to back. So it's the reason why those guys separate themselves from everybody else. What the amount of work they put in that we don't see. So and then people realize, well, you know, he's this or that. Well, the guy put the work in. So I
Yeah.
happened to see Steph Curry shoot one day. I was like, this dude's unreal. It's unbelievable to watching this guy shoot and what he does. And that's how he playing games is how he shoot when he works out.
Yeah.
So
And so that's when you're scouting, that's what you're looking for. You don't just turn up and just watch the game. You're looking either side of the game and in training and all the things.
I'm looking at you look at okay. First of all, you're scouting everybody on the court. Uh, you're looking at long term. What do you think he fits? Because you have your lottery picks. The way it was, we had the lottery picks, first round picks, second rounders, then you had a master list of everybody else. So it's already there. Uh, and you go watch and evaluate. So it very rarely it's great because when I went in before the draft, we go in for a whole month and we just evaluate, watch the guys work out in front of. We fly them in, watch them work out. We sit down and then we actually try to come up with the draft order, who's going where. And we were only off probably 4 or 5 picks out of the 60. So it's actually pretty cool to watch and just sit back. But it's some guys that are special out there that well, where did he come from? Well, NBA is different from college because you scored 25 points in college. That doesn't necessarily translate to the NBA. That guy, he's 6'7". Well, he wasn't that good in college. Well, he was 6'7", athletic. Now he gets to do this every day. Now you see that he didn't get to do in college because in college the game is different. The rules of what they do is totally different. But now this guy here in NBA, his skill set and his athleticism or talent separates from him from that guy that's maybe scoring 25 that's only 6'3", and now he can't do that because the guy that's in front of him is so much bigger and athletic.
Yeah. So size really does matter. Wow. Whew. Okay, this is so much fun. I'm imagining sitting over doing that. It must just be so much joy. Um, so I'll get to that in a sec. So you returned to Missouri State after that, hence the
Yes, I,
shirt, repping it
yeah,
today. What
yes.
excites you most about this chapter?
This is my second year. The head coach that's here now, he actually I worked for him before. When he was here, he does his first job here, and he took over for the coach that hired me in the beginning, and so he kept me on his staff. And actually, I played against him in college as well. So the thing is, with the NIL, like last year, we got 11 new players. Now that's unheard of 10 years ago, because now everybody's trying to leave and go get all this money or whatever. So if you play well, you can leave and go up, and you may get X amount of dollars. If you don't play well, then you're probably gonna leave and go somewhere else. So now the rosters are constantly changing. So we have to go get guys that fit us, fit our mentality. So coaches, he's built his programs on toughness. And if a guy's not tough, he has a hard time coaching him and playing him. He tell us don't get if this guy is soft, he can be really good, but if you see some softness in him, do not recruit him because I'm not gonna play him. So, and it's about what the head coach likes. I'm not gonna get someone that I like. I'm gonna get someone that he likes. So, but it's actually Missouri State has changed a lot. It's a lot of new stuff on campus that when I was here the first time wasn't here. But and then we're in another league. We used to be in Missouri Valley Conference. Now we're in Conference USA. So we kind of went up to a higher league, but it's basketball. So we just got to. It's a grind every year to be great. So it
Yeah,
never stops.
yeah. And you can be great one year and it can all change the next year. It's,
Yeah.
back to backs
But
are the
when you
hardest thing
win,
to do.
though, when you win though, they it attracts more people to come play for you. And because of who we like, Coach Martin played at Purdue, so he knows a lot of people being in this profession. We know a lot of people that will reach out to us and say, "I have a kid, or that's really good. Watch him, or this is a kid I know that you're recruiting. I can help you get him." So that stuff like that goes a long way.
Yeah. And so what's it been like recruiting for different coaches? Do they tell you very clearly what they want and you go and find it? How much say do you have in that?
Um, for a couple of them, I just wouldn't recruit him because he didn't care as long as they were good enough. A couple of them were like that. So, and a good thing for me, my first year here at Missouri State, I recruited the player of the year in the conference. He was eventually player of the year, so I brought him with me. So, and it's about you go through the league too. Once you go through the league one time, you figure, okay, these guys are not going to play well in this league. They're not good enough, and you got to go with these other guys because the league is different everywhere you go. I'm not going to recruit the same players that I recruited last year to play here because our league now is much more athletic and fast and tough. So we have to recruit more guys that way instead of more skilled and system type fit guys.
Yeah, brilliant. Um, so in your getting away from that actual job itself, you faced injuries and setbacks during your playing days. How did you cope mentally with those challenges? And more so, the Bullets this year we've had injury after injury. We're setting records all over the place. What advice would you give to players dealing with adversity?
My first year of college, I tore my meniscus, my knee, so I didn't start the season out practicing. So I came in maybe a month later, a month and a half later. So I was slow and it took a little while. But when your first time being hurt, you kind of baby it. You don't want to push it because you just don't know. And but after that, every injury I've had, I've kind of like, okay, I know what to expect. You just have any injury you got, when do you want to be back on the court? If the doctor give you a time frame, being a player, you want to get back on the court as soon as possible. So how hard are you going to work to get back? What are you going to do to get back? So, are you going to really go all out to get better, get healthier, or are you going to just kind of progress and just, okay, I'm going to do what the doctor said? Because every athlete, if athletes are different from normal people, So our bodies are totally different. So we do things that other people can, and they think, well, you're crazy. Well, that's how athletes are wired too. So the ones that are really good are wired differently. So, but injuries are part of the game. I also say, how serious are you taking your weightlifting and stretching stuff that help prevent injuries? Because and what are you putting into your body? So if you put the wrong stuff into your body, you're gonna get out of your body what you put into it. So, and now nutrition and strength training has totally changed from when I came. Now they're scientific driven that everybody should know, okay, and I do think people got to practice. I think we've getting away with practicing now. We start going with walkthroughs and non-contact stuff. So when you practice, they build that competitiveness, and all of a sudden, when you play a game, your body already has built up some resistance. And that's not the first time I'm getting hit when I in the game. At least in practice, I'm getting hit, and I'm guarding, I'm moving and cutting. In the game, you can't just I'm gonna play 100%, but in practice, I'm going 60. That it doesn't work like that.
Yeah. And you really need to get back up to that 100% before you even step on the court after an injury too. All right. So you've given some great tips there, but is there one extra thing you would say, the big thing you would say, the most important thing for players dealing with adversity and injuries?
Players dealing with adversity and injury, I would say for players dealing with how bad do you want it? Because for me, it was a lifestyle for me. Basketball was a lifestyle. This is what I want to do. I want to compete. I want to get better and I wanted to win. So I'm going to do everything possible to put myself in those situations. Now, we didn't win everything in Brisbane. It was great teams in front of us, but I like to say I had a part in us having a chance to beat those other teams. But if you're not serious about it, adversity, you really don't care. I'm hurt. Okay, so what? And then if you got good players on your team and they want to win, they're gonna say something to the guy that's not pushing himself or that's been always being hurt. I was never afraid to speak my mind. So some people, well, he's a bad teammate. No, if I'm working and we're trying to win and you're not, what am I supposed to do? Let you slide? So you're affecting my job then. So basically, I mean, we're all in the same boat. We're all trying to win, I hope. So if you're not doing I'm not holding you up to the standard, then I'm not doing my job.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such an upper echelon of players who actually get to play professional sports for their
Yes.
job. So if you've got that place and you don't actually really, really want it, then give it to someone else who really, really does. Yeah.
It's easy
So
job
you
for 2 hours a day. Easy job for 2 hours a day.
exactly. Exactly. So you've played and coached on several continents while raising a family.
Mhm.
How do you balance all those demands with family life and what helps keep you grounded as you do it all?
Well, lucky for me, my wife has traveled everywhere. So, and she's always my wife is from Brisbane, by the way. So, so
Oh,
she came out to Lithuania before we having kids, and so she followed me. And being that someone that does that, she understands the lifestyle, the approach to it, and so she's okay. Do what you have to do. And her parents moved over here to help take the kids around and give her because we're recruiting. I could be gone 3 or 4 nights, depending on games. So you constantly travel. We may play. Okay, I'm gonna go recruit. I gotta go see this kid play. I gotta go over here. So it's a lot. And then once you're in season, it's just constantly going. So she's very understanding of that. So you got to have your support system, and that people are willing to do that. And then my 2 sons, one of my sons, actually, he's a grad assistant here with us. So he went to Division 2 and graduated there. And now he's a grad assistant here. So he's getting another degree. So he has another year here. So he's getting schooling paid for. He's getting a master's degree. And so he's living a great life. We live in an apartment right now because I didn't my daughter, she's in high school. She plays volleyball and run track. And I didn't want them to move up here because I didn't want to take her away from her friends. So but the drive is 2.5 hours, so it's an easy drive. And I'm always recruiting in that area, so it's no big deal. And then after the season's over with, I mean, players are going home. I'll be at home most of the time anyway. But and I have another son that's playing uh, at Amherst College. Is a very high academic school. I mean, the cost to go to school there is it's a lot of money. It's what's like that. And I just finished watching him play before I talked. He played in LA today, and he got a good win. He's a freshman out there, so and he's in Connecticut, so it's like a connecting flight to get there. But he's doing well, so they it's tough because what I do don't allow me to go out there to see him play very much. So that's the hard part. When I was scouting, I could go see my other son that was at a D2. I could drive to Colorado. It was an 8-hour drive, but I'd rather do that than, it was an easy drive, no traffic. So I could go out there and watch him play, get back home. It was great. But so then my daughter, on the other hand, it's going to be interesting whether she go volleyball or track. She's pretty fast and pretty athletic. So,
How many
and she
kids
like,
is that? I lost count.
we have three, two boys. My two boys were born in Brisbane, and my daughter, I wish she was born in Australia, but she was born here in Springfield.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. That's so cool. Shout out to the Brizzy wife. What's your wife's name?
Bianca, Bianca.
Shout out Bianca. It's lovely here in Brizzy today. It's a
I bet it
lovely
is.
32 degrees.
It was like I don't know what 18 degrees is over there, but it was cold as heck this morning.
Yeah, that's cold. We don't understand that terminology. We're like, sorry, what?
It's really cold this morning. So I mean, like Christmas Day was like 75 degrees. And now,
Ooh.
today is 18. So, but it's gonna be 50s in a couple of days. So this is the Midwest weather though. That's how it is.
Yeah, wow. Wow. Um, all right. So it's a bit of advice for any kids out there, aspiring pros. What would you tell young players thinking about their taking their talents overseas or navigating a non-NBA pathway?
Well, first of all, you got to be where your feet are. I mean, you can't skip steps. A lot of people want to get to the NBA, but if you're not good at the level you're at, how you gonna get to the NBA? If you're at a primary school, wherever, college, whatever, be great where you are first before you try to jump to another level. If you're not great there and you're not working there, don't worry about the NBA. That takes care of itself. If you're good, we're going to find you. That's just how it is. Word of mouth goes a long way. There's enough social media. Everybody posts everything anyway. So people are going to find you. But, you have to have the will and the want to be good. And in basketball is one sport that you can pick a ball up and go outside or go to a gym and shoot. You don't need anybody else. So other sports you need, somebody help you. Basketball, if you want to be good, you can do it yourself. It's enough people out there where you can get video and watch and see what they do. You don't have to have someone, well, you need to do this, you need to do it, because they might not be telling you correctly. So go out
Yeah.
there, make mistakes, play hard, and it'll come together. If you love it, you can get better every day in basketball.
Yeah. I love that. Be where your feet are. That's
Yeah.
so cool. And it's so true. Take care of business right here, and the rest will take care of itself. Yeah. That's so good. Um, so looking back on your journey from Wichita to the world, what are you most proud of?
I got to see some everywhere. My journey has taken me everywhere. I met some great people, and as I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate stuff a lot more. I've changed. As a basketball player, you got to have a cockiness and a confidence about yourself. But as you get older, you get more humble. You start having better perspective of everything. And for me, just traveling the world and seeing different cultures, how people live, and I've had it really good, regardless of what you mean. My lifestyle, when I don't have to have millions of dollars, I have it really good compared to others. So, and I was able to touch other people's lives and be a part of their lives. I've made lifelong friends doing so.
Yeah. Where do you see yourself making the biggest impact in the coming years?
I still think I'm gonna make a lot of impact in these young men coming through like college, because they still need guidance. I mean, it's so many of these kids getting pulled in different direction because everybody in college basketball is all about money now. They don't see the big picture. When I went to college, I got a degree, so my degree allowed me to coach. These kids are trying to go to different schools for money every year. Who are you going to call? I can still call my coach today and talk to him, and he can pick up a phone and call someone to help me out. Who are they going to call? That's the biggest thing. And then if they don't get the degree, well, what are you going to do in life? Because now the AI and technology is changing the world. If you don't have a degree, you're going to get left behind pretty much. And take advantage of a free education. You get, I tell our guys today, you get to graduate with a degree and leave school with some money in your pocket. What more do you want? So, and some of these guys, they're making five to $800,000 a year.
Yeah.
So some make more than that. And so what I mean, get your degree because as quick as you get it, because if you have money, if you don't have any money in your bank account, next thing you know, you got 500,000 in there. What happens is you're going to spend it because you're not used to having it. So, and your circle has to be small. Have the right people in your corner. Because a lot of people is your friend when you have money, but when you don't have money, see where they are.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I love all of that. You say you stay in touch with the NBL and you're watching it. What advice would you give to the Brisbane Bullets this season so far?
ooh, wow. You got to have the right pieces.
We all do that, don't we? Where do we start?
Well, I think I don't know if the coaches are involved in the players, picking the players. I think if you're going to coach them, if a coach is going to coach them, they should be involved in the process of picking players. Again, I'm not there. You got to sit down and then you have had basketball people around that can talk basketball, that know what they're doing, and that's important. But you got to have in all sports or basketball, you can always look and at a team that's really good. They have a really good point guard. If you don't have a really good point guard, that's gonna hurt you a little bit there. So,
Fans are going to
so
go nuts over that. We've been asking for a point guard for 10 years now. Like, and Nordo's great, but Nordo's towards the end of his career. We're like amazing backup point guard, but he's not a starting point guard at the level of the league that needs to be there
right.
now.
If you don't have a point guard, get you three really good ball handlers. So now you got three guys who can play off the bounce. So you can do so much more with them. So you got a lot of versatility. So now, how am I going to guard this team? So all of them come off ball screens, all of them can shoot, all of them can play. So now we have a lot of versatility on your team. So, but you got to have bigs that can shoot, but don't have the same big. So if I sub out, I'm bringing the same player in. Well, we get to guard him the same way. He's just a catch and shoot guy. You got to have some mobility. Guys can move, defend ball screens, and you know get a coach that's going to have a system that fit his players, and get a coach that coaches that has coached that's been around basketball for a long time. So
Yeah. Yeah.
not
All
somebody
the
that's
things.
just not to do the job. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully they've learnt that one now.
I,
Um, Steve, is there anything I haven't asked you that you
I,
want to talk
I'm,
about?
uh, I'm pretty much open book. I mean, whatever you want to know, I could tell you.
Is there anything that I've left out that you think needs to be said today? Anything at all in your whole
No,
life in basketball?
think, well, I would say one experience in basketball I had was when I played the USA team. We was a 22 and under. We ended up winning the championship. That team, I was a starting point guard on the team. It was, I think, everybody on that team played professionally, and it was a great. And the contact I still keep with these guys, and it's all about the team. We don't even talk about anything. We talk about that because it was so much fun in the hotels and all that. But that team there is just you remember the little things on when you're winning and the group you're with when you enjoy playing together. So and I just the basketball give you lifelong friends, but just my relationship with CJ. I still talk to CJ in China. So I still laugh and joke with him. So I talked to who was it, Roger Smith. He got Roger on the phone. We had once. So it's a lot of people, I get DMs from Aaron Honeyman. He'll DM me sometimes. So I think it's funny, but it's great that people still reach out to me. So I hadn't talked to Leroy Loggins in a while. I wish I could. So so he
Yeah.
was a great thing.
He's
So I'm
still
surprised he's
here.
still not. I know
Yeah.
he is.
Still
So, but
hanging out.
no,
He was actually at our last home game just a couple of days ago. He showed up. We get to see him every now and then. He'll pop in.
I love my time in Brisbane, though. I did love my time there. That was a great place for basketball. So I did love my time there.
And well, your wife's parents moved over there as well. So do you have any plans to come visit in the future?
I know they still come back. I think they go back maybe because they do go to England and they go to Australia. I don't know when, but they usually go back for like 6 to 8 weeks. So my schedule prevents me because When the season's over with, we start with all these recruiting events I have to go to. And then June, I still have to recruit because it's high school deals and other. And July is my busy month for recruiting. And when August come, and my daughter's playing volleyball, so that's hard. And then August come, that's downtime before school start, and I don't want to do nothing.
Yeah.
I just want to relax.
It's a long flight from here to
Yes.
the US.
But you know
Very good.
what? It's worth it when you get there. If you stay a few weeks, you can't just stay a week and come back. So it's worth it when you get there. So I
Yeah.
would like to come back. I definitely would like to come back and hang out. Maybe in a couple years. So I tell my daughter because she runs a 400 meter in track. I told her she could be a great 400 meter runner and running the Olympics in Brisbane. So that's my plan to get her in Brisbane.
Yeah. That would be
So
amazing.
yeah.
That's a hard event. That is the 400. It's just enough to blow your vessels out. And it's just like,
She
because you
actually,
have to
you know what?
keep the speed up.
She was the youngest on her team, her 4x4 team that won state last year. So she was the only freshman on the team. And she was the lay it off. And so she's made a lot of strides. And we never did any training, get her in the track coach. So now we're doing that. And so, I don't want to push her. I never push any of my kids, but I will never let them quit anything either. So if you start something, you're gonna finish it. That's
Yeah.
that's how so
Yeah. Well, as you know, we famously have Kathy Freeman out here. Maybe
I
she'll need to
remember
come out and see if Kathy can give her a few
I
tips.
remember her. We had a great four. What's her name? McLaughlin. She's the reigning champion of the hurdles, and I think she's might win the 400 meters.
Yeah.
She's
America's good at everything in athletics.
uh, well. I always say you breed competition. I mean, it's just you come up places like where I grew up at. Competition was always there. You always want to beat somebody, whether you're racing or whatever. It was just so much competition to try to be the best, and I think that's what separates Americans sometimes. People look at it as where they're so arrogant. It's not arrogance, in my opinion. It's like if you work hard at something and you think you're the best, it kind of intimidates other people. But that's not, this is who I am. And then you
Yeah.
sit up, go talk to them, and all of a sudden you say, oh man, he's a great guy, or she's a
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. We just have tall poppy syndrome here. It's like the colonization English part that came into Australia. It's like you can be great, you just can't talk about it and you can't say that you're great. So that's where America's having a positive influence on us when people can come through and say, yes, I am very good at this and I do actually believe in myself and I've put in the work and I deserve this. So it's a good
Nothing,
thing.
nothing wrong with that at all. I think you should say that. So, because they
Absolutely.
tennis. I've watched the people come through tennis over there, and why not? Like Ben Simmons, you got Dyson Daniels in the NBA, who's actually found the right team for him.
Yeah.
Giddy at Chicago
Yeah.
Bulls. Yeah, so why not? So, and did anybody think those guys would get that far? You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I had an inkling when I saw Josh in the when he came and played in the Next Stars as soon as he did first game because I love watching them in person. I was like, "Oh my God, that kid's special.
he had
Oh, he's
size,
special."
really pass the ball. His shot has come a long way, but his size and his pass, he has elite passing. So
Yeah.
he's really good. So you remember Alex Sarr?
Yes.
That played at Perth. Yeah.
Yes.
Quick story is I coached his brother Olivier at Wake Forest. And so Alex, when he was little, would come stay at my house with my son. And so he would play, we would take him, he would play with teams and all that. So I actually put in a good word with John Really for John Really so he can come over here, go over there and play. So because they reached out to me and they asked me about Alex and could I help in some sort of way. So and he was great, and he was at OTE, which he should have never been there. And so it was great for him to go over there and play because then he could play and it's more like home, better atmosphere, not
Yeah.
as demanding as some other places he was at. So
Yeah. And he
and
did a
he's
great job. He had a great
yes.
season. And we watched him rise through the season as well. He ended the season better than he started it. He was impressive.
See, where he was at previously, he was playing with the Thompson twins. They're both one's with Houston, one's with Detroit Pistons. And those two guys, they were NBA players when they were like 15. You can't teach 6'7" quick, twitchy athletes, and they defensively they would scare people. They were so good, you know. And so he was playing with them, so he kind of got overshadowed. And so he couldn't be Alex when he was there. And so his personality is not like that. So it was great for him to go to Perth, and John did a heck of a job with him.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for sharing that one. That's a great little story in there. Well, Steve, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I know the Bullets fans are going to love listening to this one. We consistently talk about players that we've had before because they're the glory days, and we haven't had many of them in the last 10 years. So we've got to kind of look back to,
It'll come back. It'll come
to
back.
the
You
old.
just get the right person there to come back. So, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
give me a call. Tell him give me a call. I'd love to talk with him.
It's out there now. That's staying in the podcast. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And we hope to catch you at a game one time in the future.
I hope so too. And I appreciate you again for having me on.